Christopher Moon comes to house for ghost investigations. Oh, so he didn't even know this was an alien at first?
I think he wanted to see what would prove more profitable.
Ah, makes sense.
As grainy
oh,
as
God,
possible.
Look at that shadow.
Stan Romanek, who...
Bit of a cult hero in the community.
Well, let me just read the first line of his Wikipedia bio. Stanley Tiger Romanek is an American author, alien abductee claimant, and convicted sex offender for child pornography crimes.
Now that's the bio of a man who's lived quite a life.
There have been many people trying to do a film on my case for so long, and luckily there's going to be a motion picture made about my story.
I guess there's a reason it's free on YouTube.
I was taught that there's nothing out there other than us. And so when this big event happened, it switched everything around. And stuff continued to happen. Most of the stuff that happens with me, even now, only happens with a lot of people around.
He wears socks, he wears shorts, he wears shirts. You know, it's not like an abductee is somebody who wears a tinfoil hat. You know, he's very normal.
Very normal. That's not how I would describe him.
I want to hang out where Stan is considered normal, because I would be king.
Yeah, that's got to be a pretty rad town.
Yeah, if the alien abduction guy is a normal dude.
Maybe we should befriend more MUFON people. They seem pretty dumb.
But he has abnormal things happening to him, around him, but more for him. Not only for himself, but in a way for humanity.
You know, I was fighting within myself, you know, am I really seeing this? If I am really seeing this, it has to be some kind of military thing, but how can the military have anything like this?
Saying, you're not going to believe this. I don't know what this is. I was very excited, and he was convinced he was insane. And I'm like, this is so cool.
And she believed in this stuff and I didn't. So she kind of helped me calm down.
But this is really cool if this is what it is. You know, kind of a drama with him.
It took a lot to convince me that anything like that was even remotely real. But I really got a good glimpse of it as I was coming up there's a steep hill. There it is. There's the thing that's been following me.
Oh, that one's pretty clear.
Actually, that one's pretty good, yeah.
It also looks like a moth on his window.
Something must have happened because I woke up in the morning and I had some indentations in my back, sores around my wrists, like I was been roped or had been handcuffed or something.
Phone call was basically, I had the weirdest dream. He said, but it doesn't make sense because I have all the hairs all off my wrists and I have these sores on my back. I was trying to be the analytical one, you know, it's like there has to be a reason for it. It can't be that aliens came in and abducted you. It wasn't a dream. I know it wasn't a dream.
This light just explodes onto the ground right next to the house and starts coming up towards where the video camera is bolted to the side of the house. And you see these what look like soap bubbles start flying around, and it almost looked like there's a little bit of steam coming off the grass when the light hits the grass. Later that morning when I woke up, I went to go check to see why the cameras didn't, why the cameras stopped working. So I went outside and I noticed this. It's as if where the beam of light hit the camera, it cleaned the whole area of sighting in this perfect like arc. And it literally melted the siding. You could see where some kind of heat warped and kind of browned the siding a little bit, especially up toward the camera. The very next day, I was going to collect a piece of siding, and I woke up 8 o'clock in the morning because I heard this pounding. It's like, what in the world? I went outside to look, and there were two guys had taken down my surveillance camera and laid it in the grass, and they were replacing the siding of my house. And so I grabbed a piece of siding, and after about 45 minutes, they shot back the yard, and I thought they went to lunch and were going to come back. They disappeared. It says Bob Sighting from Grand Island, Nebraska on the side of their truck. And all they replaced is where the UFO beamed my surveillance camera. That's it. And when I called the landlord said, I didn't ask for them to side the house. Why are they sighting the house? I hope they don't charge me. So, and then the investigators looked up Bob Sighting from Grand Island, and there's no such thing. This probably was the most significant event for me out of all of this that's happened so far. I'm still waiting for something more impressive to happen. It started out, I was painting the eave of my house, and I fell 12 feet onto the ground, and I twisted my leg just right and tore the anterior cruciate ligament in my hamstring of my right leg. Went to the doctor. They told me I was going to need surgery that next Wednesday. Tuesday night, Lisa woke up in the middle of the night because I was gone and all the breakers were blown. But when she tried to find me, I was completely missing. I was gone. I was nowhere to be found anywhere. She eventually got all the breakers flipped back on, all the lights back on, and she came in the house, and I was standing kind of dazed in the middle of the living room. We didn't really give it any more thought. We didn't give it a second thought. And we decided, we'll just go back to bed. Well, the next morning, Lisa had to get up fairly early to get ready for work. So 6 o'clock in the morning, she got up and she noticed this circle in my yard.
His affect is what's getting me. He kind of has a drugged affect to his voice.
He's slurring a little there, talking a little slow.
He's just carefully considering the words.
Well, he wish he had done that in court.
And it kind of looked like the same circle that we had in our yard from a prior abduction. Now, what's interesting is Lisa woke me up to come look at this circle. And she was looking at me weird, and I walk up to the window, and I'm looking, I said, that's just crazy. How'd that get there? And Lisa goes, do you notice anything different? I go, yeah, there's a damn circle in our yard. She goes, no, do you notice anything different? I'm looking at her like, what are you talking about? So she goes, come here. So I walk over to her, and it's like, hey, where'd my knee brace go? Where'd my cast go? And how come my knee doesn't hurt anymore? And how come it's swollen anymore? And why in the hell do I have 5 holes in the back of my leg? Well, the funny thing is I had to call the doctor to explain why I didn't need surgery. I said, I'm just going to have to prove to you I don't need surgery anymore. She goes, all right, all right, I'll tell you what, I'm not at the office right now, but my associate's in the emergency room. I'll call him, set it up. You go see him in the emergency room. It's like, okay, fair enough. Well, I went to the emergency room and my wife brought a tape recorder and we recorded the whole conversation.
I woke up at 3 o'clock. The swimming was gone, the bruising was gone, everything was gone, and I could run up and down stairs. It was the creepiest thing.
So if you lose power when you're sick, the next time everything's going to be fine?
I hope so.
We don't know. It's just really odd. We don't know.
But where'd you get the holes? It's a pattern, right? I mean, it's right in the line.
It was there when I woke up at 3 o'clock.
Well, I don't know what those, those lesions are on your leg, Ron. There's such a pattern that this, it's hard for me to cover this from any, insects or anything like that. More likely, it could be the pressure. There's no rivets or anything on that immobilizer.
But the immobilizer's gone. It just disappeared. I can't find it anywhere.
It just disappeared.
It's gone.
He burned his knee brace.
Should have burned the child porn.
Oh.
Ironically, the one thing that should have been set on fire was not.
You were at bed?
Yes, I did. I went to bed. It's gone. We looked everywhere for it.
Where do you live? I want to go investigate. I don't know. But anyway, your exam is fine today.
This video was pretty much the piece of evidence that put me on the map. It's also the one I get the most, what's the word? The most crap for, basically.
This section's called interventions.
Interventions, all right. I didn't know he went into a good spiral. His pill bottles got melted. Damn.
Those white pills were Vicodin-y shaped.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, those kind of look like Vicodin.
All right, that would explain where the intervention comes in, I guess. Orbs. Wait, they didn't even talk about the intervention.
I think the intervention were the aliens intervening in his life.
Oh, that's
yes.
what he's implying.
The debunkers try to, and the skeptics just will pick that thing apart. One day, one of the researchers said, hey, you've got a Sony Hi8 camcorder with night shot on it. Next time you see movement out of one of the windows, grab your tripod, put on the tripod, point it toward that window, and see what you can catch. I grabbed my camcorder and put the camera on the tripod and pointed it toward that window. And I went to the bathroom. I was sitting at the edge of the bathtub reading a magazine, and I was reading the magazine, and there were two flashes of light. And the second flash of light was so bright, it almost blinded me, and I had the door almost all the way shut. It's like, holy crap. So I looked, and I kind of ducked back, and then I kind of looked again. I see this head pop down.
It literally traveled many galaxies just to fucking peekaboo you in your window.
And this, I
That's
believe...
either the pettiest race in the existence of this universe.
And it's like, yes, I got him. Finally got the little son of a gun. And I went to go look out of the window to see if I could see this guy. And I saw what I thought was a small child running toward the backyard. I was kind of staying away, made sure, there was nobody messing around with me. I was just about to turn off the camera when I see this figure looking at me through the sliding glass door, blinking, moving. It's like, that's got to be somebody in a costume or some kind of puppet or something.
It's just the idea that they came all this way to peek at him.
To cause minor inconveniences.
Yeah, that's it.
I got closer. He closed his eyes slowly, and as if he was trying not to make a sudden move, he slowly just moved off to the left and disappeared.
Daddy, can you hear me?
That probably should have been a red flag when a little girl was calling him. Oh, dyslexia. Your Honor, I thought she was 61.
Okay, this is Kim. When are we going to see you in person again?
That's why I'm calling. We might visit you sometime that you talk.
Oh no, the alien's back? Different
No,
alien?
that's a little girl. He's being stalked by a young child. See, the children were stalking him. That's not his fault.
The memories he did have of his abductions and the woman that he remembered seeing her, he knew what she looked like, what she sounded like, was hard for me. But during these regressions, it all just came really, it became a reality for me.
They kept looking at her, and Lisa watched me, looking at her. She goes, what's up? And I said, I know her from somewhere. And then it hit me like a lead balloon. She was the woman I was with all this time. Every time I was taken, it was the same woman. And we became very close friends. And it got to a point where it was kind of hard for Lisa because we had this weird connection, me and Victoria, this bizarre, unnatural connection.
I was so wrapped up in the case and learning about it and learning what my role was in it and experiencing so many things around me that I wasn't focused on Lisa's feelings.
When he found Victoria, that was really, really, really hard for me to deal with. For 6 years, I worried what would happen to me. As his wife, my jealousy and my anger was very evident to anyone in that house.
You could tell she was hurt or bothered, especially if he and I would go off to the side and be in this deep conversation and she'd be looking for him and we're sitting out in the front yard talking.
This woman is very dumb.
This is an affair.
This woman is incredibly stupid.
I think it's dumb all around. I haven't seen a lick of IQ.
Well, if your spouse comes to you and is like, listen, in the astral plane, I have 7 children with this woman.
It's not a thing, I swear.
Yeah, it's, how do you even come close to buying that?
All right, we all know what's going on. She knows what's going on.
And then I started understanding, not liking it obviously, but understanding that here's these two people that were put together in these terrifying experiences. And they needed each other to figure out what had happened. I have never doubted that my husband loves me more than anything else. And he knows that, obviously I'd give my life to support him.
Oh, man, you believed him, Lisa.
She did. That's what I'm saying. She's the dumbest one in this.
Yeah, poor woman.
I would never lie for him, but I will support him. I'll back him up when he tells his story, when it's true, and the events are accurate. Otherwise, I call him out on it. It's like, no, that's not when it happened. So.
Can I interrupt you for that?
Mm-hmm.
For a minute? You just said you would never lie for him.
That's right, I won't.
To your core, that's who you are.
Absolutely.
So nothing that has happened in any way, shape, or form in his life and to you has been fabricated.
No, nothing that he has shared with you or anyone else is fabricated. I cannot tolerate liars. I cannot stand deception. If I thought Stan was lying about any of this, making any of it up, I would have walked away faster than anything. Love or no love.
This weird British sounding voice left a message for us saying that it wasn't safe to live in Colorado Springs. And, I thought somebody was joking around, but honestly, I wished I would have listened because not long after that, I was riding my bicycle to work because I didn't live very far from where I worked. And this black SUV kind of pulled up alongside of me as I was riding, and I heard them say something. It's like, oh, great, some drunk military types trying to start trouble. Because there's a lot of military bases in Colorado Springs. Well, I ignored them and kept riding. They were stopped behind a car at a stoplight, so I just went up and over an embankment and drove into the parking lot where I worked, and I was going to go around the building to lock up my bike. Somehow these guys knew exactly where I parked my bike because they found a back way to get into the back parking lot where they cut me off. It was the guy on the passenger side gets out of the car and says, "You need to keep your mouth shut." And I look at him, I said, "I didn't say anything to you." And you could tell they were definitely some kind of black ops or military just by the way they looked. He started shoving me, and I kind of fell off my bike a little bit. And I heard him talking about the alien stuff, and I said, "I can't shut up about this stuff. That's ridiculous." And so he started swinging, and we got into a tussle. And you know, I grew up in Southwest Denver, so I kind of know how to fight a little bit.
Look, he grew up fighting retarded Bloods and Crips, okay?
The guy behind the passenger seat, there were 4 of them altogether, got out and did all these kung fu karate kind of moves, and I actually laughed at him. I think it kind of pissed him off a little bit.
He's fighting Crips and Bloods?
Oh, fucking Down syndrome gangbangers. This is the funniest image.
Retarded white kid fighting Bloods and Crips. I'd give anything to see video of him fighting retarded Crips and Bloods. He's got footage of everything but that.
But he came at me, and I had a bike chain wrapped around my seat that I locked my bike up with, and I just started wailing at him. And I honestly thought I killed him because he was on the ground jerking around and shaking really hard like he was having convulsions or something. And I felt this intense kind of weird tickle pain thing on my lower back, and I hit the ground. Come to find out, they actually tased me. And that's why I fell to the ground. So there was a police report made, and ended up with a broken wrist and a broken nose.
That first paragraph up there said Mr. Romanek did not suffer serious injuries.
So he's lying. The police report noted none of that.
It seems like he's either delusional or lying, yes.
And, you know, I wished I would have listened to that call. Oh my God, this is really important. Funniest thing, I mean, how funny can it get? You have to make fun of this or else you'll go crazy. I had a dream that my wife was being messed with. Woke up because I dreamt there were little grays shoving something down her throat while she was laying in bed. She woke up coughing. That woke me up 2 o'clock in the morning. I got up to go to the bathroom. Turned on the light, and I was in this woman's one-piece nightgown. It's like, what the heck? My wife laughed for hours and hours and hours. She goes, "That's not mine." I felt a wet spot on the back of this nightgown. It was disgusting, gooey wet spot. I didn't want it to touch my body, so we're sitting there holding it, trying to peel this thing off me. Sent it off to the researchers, to the scientists. It ended up being a blood plasma expander in a protein that they can't identify even to this day. And something that resembles a chemical that's used for in vitro fertilization. Now, what is it doing on this nightgown? Okay, this gets creepier. We were contacted by Betty Hill's niece during one of these conferences, and she goes, I want to talk to you about this nightgown. I heard you had a nightgown. I said, yes. She goes, well, Betty Hill died in 2004. 2003, she had an experience, one of her last experiences, and it pissed her off because her favorite nightgown went missing. Yeah. I said, okay, well, can you describe this nightgown? She said, yes, it was a plaid nightgown with a Disney character on it. Gets even weirder. My friend, for a bachelor party, got me a shirt. He had it made specially. It says, I've been abducted by aliens, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. I went to bed with that shirt, and it ended up missing. What's interesting is when Betty Hill's niece went over, they found this shirt that says, I've been abducted by aliens, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
After one alien abduction, Stan said that he woke up to find himself in a woman's flannel nightgown. Stan was questioned about having the flannel nightgown tested for DNA. He said that that was too expensive.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the show, and today's guest is Stan Romanek. How you going, Stan?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
It's fine. Muchly appreciate you taking the time to come on. You're a best-selling author and an experiencer. More to the plate in your story that not all experiences have.
I don't know what the hell that was.
What you're saying is hard enough trying to get by, let alone to have... That just dropped... I knew it.
I have no idea where the hell that come from.
What is going on with people like Stan Romanek? In one sense, Stan is special among alien abductees because he has clearly fabricated evidence to prove his claim. Most alien abductees don't do that. Stan has all these videos and photographs of aliens, UFOs, mysterious injuries, and strange damage to his yard, his house, and other property. He has gone out of his way to prove his claims. When Stan was in jail waiting to be transferred to the halfway house, he had a great opportunity to prove that he was telling the truth this whole time. If the aliens had abducted him out of a jail cell, a lot of people would believe Stan's stories. Not surprisingly, the aliens never came for him in jail. If there's ever an alien invasion, everybody who is incarcerated will be safe. So at least there's some option to defeat the alien intruders.
People always ask me, would you do this over again in a heartbeat? I would, in a heartbeat.
His responsibility is to simply share his story, what he's experienced. And if it helps people who are in the same situation, that's very important to us. It's all about getting the message out.
I think to cap this all off, I should read from the child pornography section of his Wikipedia page. After appearing at the Larimer County Courthouse, Romanek was released on a $20,000 personal recognizance bond. In March 2016, Romanek pleaded not guilty to both charges after refusing a plea deal from the 8th Judicial DA's office. On August 8th, 2017, Romanek was found guilty of felony possession of child pornography. But, and good for him, not guilty of distribution of child pornography.
Attaboy, you just bought it, you didn't sell it.
His sentencing was held December 14th, 2017, where he was sentenced to serve 2 years in a halfway house.
That's it?
For child porn. The aliens helped him out with his defense fund. Yeah, not allowed to use computers or electronic devices unmonitored. So I guess we won't be getting any more videos from Stan. I think his hard drives and video cameras have been taken from him. Oh, here we go. Romanek made public allegations that the government had planted the evidence on his computer. Romanek had even tried to frame his stepson for placing the pornography on his computer.
That's awesome.
The prosecutor pointed out that even the defense team would not allow such fabricated evidence into court.
That's hilarious. His wife is still with him after he tried to set up her son for porn charges?
Yeah.
Child porn charges on that?
She's sticking with him from the looks of things.
I mean, when you're in that deep.
I mean, it's been an incredible journey. And in the end of it, I've come to understand that, You have to live without fear, and you have to love without limit. And I say this is, if Stan had cancer, no one would ask me why I don't leave him. No one would question why I stay beside his side and help him through all of this. But that's how you have to look at it. It's something that the experiencers didn't have a choice in. They didn't intentionally bring this into our life. Stan didn't. But I can't not love him because of it. It's a journey that has brought us to enlightenment, and it's been an amazing journey.
Romanek was resentenced on November 30th, 2020.
Good for
to
him.
10 more years of of intense supervised probation. The judge expressed concern that Romanek was not taking responsibility for his crimes.
He's just never allowed to leave the house or use a computer unmonitored again.
What a piece of shit.
That's hilarious.
Get caught with child porn and then frame your wife's kid.
No, honey, your son did this.
That's next level scumbaggery.
Yeah, that poor wife. Oh, Lisa. So is she the crazy one?
She's certainly not sane.
Woo! Yeah, they really need a follow-up to that because Victoria has some explaining to do.
Like, I don't even know what to say. He's fucking crazy, but he's also clearly sane enough to lie. He may be more con man than crazy. A bad con man.
He definitely is the theatrical type. I'll give him that.
This guy might actually be retarded.
Oh, yeah. He definitely has a few chromosomes
He
added.
is dumb as shit.
Yeah, he's not a bright fella.